Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Scott Beale, the founder and CEO of Atlas Core. I think I've been live for the last 5 seconds and did not realize it. But now we're live, and we're going to hope that the internet stays strong and that my boys don't break in that back door, and that this Facebook Live works, and that we are able to have a little bit of a conversation, a little bit of an update. So my hope is that this is working, and that I can tell you kind of some big picture updates about what's going on with Atlas Core. Basically, my agenda is to welcome you to this call, to tell you an update on how coronavirus is affecting Atlas Core today and our community, tell you about some exciting innovations that we're taking and responding to this crisis and to this pandemic, and then also invite you to get more involved in our work, and then also to answer questions. And so that's super ambitious, and I'm hopeful that it's going to work. I thought I would see like chat functions here somewhere, so but I do want to say right up front, if you have questions, to put them in the chat box, and I'll get to them in the end. And as people join this call, I'll try to give people a shout out and really appreciate you chiming in and participating. So first off, I want to also say hello to everyone. I know Passover began last night. Easter is about to begin. We are just less than 2 weeks away from Ramadan. It is a holy time of the year. It's a period of renewal and hope, even while we are stuck and quarantined in our homes all around the world, quarantined in our homes, social distancing, and trying to stay safe in these difficult times. I know that coronavirus is affecting not just Atlas Core and our fellows, but so many of you personally, and there are concerns about your family and your friends, and people are being affected by this, and it's scary. It's absolutely scary. Just know that we're thinking of all of you and want to make sure that you're staying safe. But my hope is that that you are safe and that things are okay and that you're stuck at home, and that you at least can join us for the next 30 minutes or so to hear an update on Atlas Core. So first, kind of big picture, coronavirus, COVID-19, and all of the effects of this are affecting everyone. It's affecting, you can see unemployment in the United States is skyrocketing. It's affecting many people's healths. Especially small businesses and nonprofits are being affected. Atlas Core is not any different. So I wanted to let you know how exactly it's really affecting us. First is we do have about 70 fellows in the country right now. We sent home some fellows who were near the end of their fellowship. They had the option to fly back early, and a handful of them took advantage of that. And we've also had a class that we had originally expected to come in April, which we're now postponing. I'm going to go into more detail on that soon. And so it's definitely affecting the flow of our work. Some of our fellows have been sick, and like so many other people around the world, especially in the United States, haven't been able to get the testing that they wanted done, and that has been frustrating and difficult. Our fellows who have been sick, they're on the mend, and our fellows are right now are healthy and strong and staying in their homes. But it's been scary as some fellows have had to address those health issues. We are in a situation as an international exchange program, a leadership program, where we rely on the ability for people to get visas, and U.S. embassies around the world have effectively closed, or at a very minimum, stopped issuing new visas, including J-1 visas, including embassies that we have partnerships with. And that's made it literally impossible for us to sponsor new fellows on visas coming in April, or really even in May. Flights are down and borders are closed. And that isn't just about fellows coming in, it's also about fellows going home. As some of you saw in the update I mentioned in an email to our donors and supporters and our newsletter, we have about 4 fellows who are grounded right now, unable to fly back to their countries at the end of their fellowship. We could easily have as many as 11 fellows in the next 2 months who simply aren't able to go back home, who want to go back home and want to go back to their families and their communities, want to go back to the important work that they're doing, be it on global health or on tech or social change or on empowering women. They've had this incredible experience in the United States for 12 to 18 months, and they're ready to go back home. And they're going to be in a situation where they can't. And so that's the situation that we're in, and we're in a situation where, of course, we need to be able to support these fellows and keep the important work about LASCOR going on. And I'll mention a couple more things. Like, a lot of our host organizations and our partners are also feeling this effect, and even many of our donors. This is, of course, affecting the whole ecosystem about LASCOR, and all the while we have nearly 70 fellows. About 70 fellows are in the U.S. now. We can't sit on our hands. We can't be frozen and unsure what to do because of uncertainty. Frankly, the work that we do is way too important. The fellows that we have here are way too precious for us just to sit back and hope things that will get better. So we've decided to take some pretty quick action and some really important innovations. One of the first things is that we knew this would be affecting our budget, so we took some very quick austerity measures to limit our spending, to keep it focused on the health, safety, and welfare of our fellows. And those austerity measures have been really important in keeping the organization strong and lengthening our ability to keep doing the work that we're doing. We are working really closely with our major donors, including with the U.S. government and with really longtime partners of ours like American Express. That has been very, very, very valuable. And I see some questions are coming in, which is great. I want to get to them. So when you get in, say hello and say where you're coming in from, and feel free to ask your questions as well. Abby and others. Oh, there's a lot of folks here. Great. From Ethiopia and from Malawi. Oh, this is wonderful. And from Pakistan, one of our top countries. Thank you very much for calling in. I'm going to get to everyone's questions. And as we have fellow and alumni who are there, chime in as well and let them know where you're calling in from. So we're making some innovations to our program that we're excited about. One of the first is that we are in the short term changing our fellowship from an entirely in-person experience to one that is blended. The broad outlines of this are that we hope to have a class in May or June, probably May, that would be a blended fellowship where a fellow would come and spend 4 months serving remotely from their home country in Cairo, in Tunis, in Mexico City, in Islamabad, in Abuja, wherever the case may be. And then they would spend 8 months, maybe 10 months in the United States. So it would be part virtual, part in person. We'd still place that amazing social change tech leader from Cairo with IBM and Village Capital, one of our host organizations, and they would do their work remotely. Frankly, just like they were if they were in DC, New York, or San Francisco, because we're all working remotely now anyways. We would still provide the orientation, the network, the community building. It's still a training program, the Global Leadership Lab that we'd be providing, and a distance training experience. The community that would come out of that, still 100% an Atlas Core Fellow, just one where the beginning of it would be virtual for the first few months. And then as visas are opened up and flights open up and borders reopen, we'll bring those fellows to the United States. And they'll get that same experience that the current candidates applied for and future candidates primarily apply for, is that experience to come to the United States, to both learn and to serve and to share their experience and perspectives, to join a global, diverse community of leaders, and then to go back home. And so we're still in business. We're still taking applications. We're still making matches. And our 39th class of fellows, I mean, for those that have been with us for 14 years, 39 classes, it's just amazing. We are still going to launch our 39th class of fellows. And I suspect we're going to launch it in May. And so for those who are finalists and semi-finalists, those who have been interviewing, we've probably been in touch with those people who are being into consideration for May, but know that we're still doing placements. Our class after that is going to be in July. And then we suspect by October, we will have a classic fellowship launched again, where fellows come, serve in person in a 12 to 18 month experience. Although who knows, we may have some fellows who come in a purely in-person 12 to 18 month experience. There may be some host organizations who love this blended model, or some candidates who love this blended model, who spend a few months serving remotely and then coming in person. We're going to see how these innovations work. The team has been working really hard on it. The response from our host organizations and partners has been positive, as have the finalists who were really close to placing, which has been great to see. The other innovation that we're launching, which we've done a lot of in the past, but I'm really excited about, is really strengthening our distance learning program, not just for our current fellows and our alumni, but also in the coming months, details coming soon, a distance learning program, virtual learning community that would engage semi-finalists to our program. These are the folks who have applied, who are in our top tier of candidates, but we simply haven't found placements for. We want to open up our experience, 14 years of experience training and networking and supporting social impact leaders, and then build this community and do this online distance learning. This online distance learning community would, of course, then be a funnel into our hybrid and our in-person fellowship, but would be a way for us to continue the important work of Atlas Core of strengthening and supporting and networking global social change leaders. We're working on a couple other innovations as well. We're talking to a funder we're really excited about a broader virtual community that really brings together the social change leaders from around the world, working together on key youth priorities. We feel very strongly in Atlas Core that we're going to come out on the other side of this. I don't just mean we, Atlas Core, we the United States. I mean, our world is going to come out in this post-COVID-19 world. And it's not that coronavirus will ever be fully behind us, but this current pandemic will lessen. And then when we get past that period of being locked in our houses, we need trained network-supported leaders who are ready to work together to build this new world. We know that Atlas Core Fellows are well positioned to do that. We know the work that we're doing is now more important than ever. And then finally, just innovations that we're launching. Every year at Atlas Core, we launch with a new theme. A few years back, it was about building bridges largely with the Muslim world. About 60% of our program is Muslim. 2 years ago, it was about empowering women. 40% of our program has been female. It was a great theme. Last year was about diversity and inclusion, which of course is one of our founding principles at Atlas Core. And this year we're going to focus on the idea of tech for humanity and how social change tech leaders and tech leaders can really affect change. And I think about this with this theme, like our fellow Nino in Tunisia, who's using a makerspace and using his tech ability to create personal protective equipment for medical workers. And that's really exciting. And so we think there's a lot of ways that tech can create social change. A lot of our fellows and alumni or host organizations are doing that. And so it's going to be one of our broader themes for this year, still focusing, of course, on all the ways our fellows make a difference, from global health to microfinance to LGBTQ, any number of social issues that our fellows are working on. We're still working in those areas, but our theme around this year is going to be the Atlas Core for Tech. Super excited to see a couple of board members. I see Peter Simpson and Neil on the call. It's always good when your bosses are paying attention to you online. So thank you, Peter and Neil and Whitney and so many others who are chiming in. Oh, there's more alumni there. This is great. Okay, I want to go into a few ways that you can help and get involved in Atlas Core in this important, critical period of time in our history. And then I'm just going to start answering tons and tons of questions. So put the questions in there and we'll get them all answered. So the first is, here is one of the ways that folks can help. We have a lot of folks who come to us and said, hey, I volunteered in the past. I really want to help out. How can I help? And so we have folks who have served on our selection board, who are helping read applications. A lot of applications are still coming in, reviewing those applications, interviewing those candidates. And so if you've been on the selection board in the past or you want to be, great way to get involved. We've had our local ambassadors and a lot of our supporters in the United States, especially in DC and New York, and Seattle and San Francisco and Boston, who have said, I want to put together a care package. I want to help support the fellows if I can. And so we've had volunteers put together care packages, even care packages with toilet paper, which is like white gold, right? White gold. We appreciate our volunteers putting together those packages with care and sharing it with our fellows. And some of our fellows have begun to receive those and will be soon, especially when you're looking at things like cleaning supplies and stuff like that, but also just letting our fellows know who are here in the United States that, of course, they're not alone and that there's many people in our community who care passionate about them. We are definitely seeking support financially. We launched a campaign called the Fellow Support Fund, and it's just bit.ly/fellow support fund, and the link will be in the chat. And this is a fund that we're using to direct money directly to fellows who are in the United States right now. There are a lot of unexpected expenses, from more expensive plane tickets to health concerns, to fellows who are grounded and can't go back home. We're trying to raise money to support our fellows who are in the United States and all the various needs and the staffing needs to support these people. And that support really, really, really makes a big, big difference. Two other ways that you can help, and I know this is the case for many people who are on this call. We're still in business. We still want people to start these applications, to complete these applications as many people know, in fact, a few people have alluded to, our application usually takes about a year anyways. So if you're applying today for our program, it is most likely for a January or April class of next year anyways, at which point we will be past the curve. We might even be past the second curve at that point. And so they may have a vaccine at that point, right? So apply now to be a part of our program. Apply now to take a year of your life, to volunteer, to serve, to gain this experience, to join this global network, to help rebuild our world in a world that was already struggling in so many ways, but it's going to be struggling even more from health and inequality and so many challenges that our fellows around the world are facing. Like, take the time now to apply, to dream big, to believe in yourself, to tell other people that you know. You know, we typically are looking for folks between 24 and 35 years old. They tend to be social change, social impact leaders, but really a wide variety from doctors and lawyers to data scientists who want to use their skills to affect social change, working on a wide variety of issues. Communications experts and fundraisers and project managers and any number of things from literally any country. Right now, the only country that we don't take applications from is the United States. Sorry, but we'll take applications from Canada and England, as well as Yemen and South Africa and China, anywhere in the world. We've had fellows from Cuba. We've had almost 800 leaders now from 96 countries. And I don't see any reason why you or someone that you know shouldn't also be a part of that. We're also still in business seeking host organizations. Our nonprofit and for-profit partners know that Atlas Corps can place diverse, talented leaders on their team. And even in an era of uncertainty and challenge, maybe especially in an era that we're in right now, organizations need diverse, talented leaders to help address their social missions. So whether it is one of our big tech partners like IBM or Microsoft or Airbnb that's seeking a diverse, talented leader on their team, or one of our community-based partners or health-based organizations, we are bringing fellows still every 3 months, approximately. And so whether it's a blended fellowship or a classic fellowship, please let organizations you know that are expanding, maybe because their workload has increased and they need talent, diverse leaders on their team. We want to place fellows on their team. We want to talk to organizations about how to support their work. And then, those are the biggest ways you can help. Finally, just a little bit big picture wrap up into the questions. You know, I've been thinking, reflecting a lot, as we all have over the past few weeks, and I really feel like in many ways, this is what Atlas Corps was created for. Not that we started Atlas Corps 14 years ago with this vision of a global pandemic, but we absolutely started Atlas Corps with this vision that we need globally trained network social impact leaders. We already lived in a world with far too many borders and far too many walls and far too many challenges for people to collaborate, to cross borders and to learn from each other that already existed before visas were canceled and flights were canceled. This has just made it more evident. And so we've been building a world that allows people and good ideas and talent to cross those borders and building those communities and those connections so that we can go back to our homes, back to our communities, taking those best practices and ideas and addressing social impact around the world, in these countries and communities all around the world. And as we see our alumni, our growing community of alumni who believe in Atlas Corps and even more importantly, believe in each other, perhaps even more importantly, believe in themselves. And that crazy ability that they have, that they can make a difference in their society and their communities, that is what we're seeding around the world. That is the social change leaders, the nonprofit founders, the techies, the doctors all around the world. And we need more of that. So today is not the day. Now is not the time for Atlas Corps to sit back and just hope that we will get through this, because hope is not a plan. Hope is a great political speech. Hope is not a plan for a social enterprise or a nonprofit or how we end up addressing social challenges in our world. Atlas Corps is a plan. More candidates, more organizations, more fellows, more Atlas Corps fellows working together to address the more challenges that our world faces. So, okay, sorry, got worked up there. Okay, let's try to go through some of these questions I got. I'll start with the ones that Abby are chatting to me, and then I'll try to go through the chat box and give some shout outs as well. And so first question, if an applicant's been waiting for 3 years, thank you for waiting for 3 years. Some things are worth waiting for. Are there other initiatives or opportunities for this applicant? First off, thank you for applying. Thank you for sticking with us for those 3 years. We have had, I'm almost embarrassed to say, a lot of fellows who've waited in the process for a long time, because we're always looking for that perfect match. We place that youth development leader at a youth development organization. We place that climate change leader at a climate change organization. And sometimes it takes a while to find that perfect match, even with amazing candidates like yourself. But to answer your question, yes, we are not only still looking to make matches, and we'll be announcing our 39th class in the coming weeks and our 40th class in July, but we're also, as I said, launching this community leaders or virtual leadership program where folks like yourself who have been a semifinalist for many years, who has a desire to learn more and to network with other leaders, we're going to create that community. At a minimum, we're going to create a distance learning opportunity for our top candidates. And we're also looking at creating even a virtual, almost a social network, professional network community, not to replace Facebook or LinkedIn, but to create a community of crazy people who believe that change is possible and that want to surround themselves with other crazy people who have those beliefs and can share best practices and support each other. So yes, more news coming in the coming months, but especially for candidates like yourself who've applied and been waiting, we are looking to offer more services and opportunities for you as more of our work goes virtual. Have interviews started for applicants that recently applied? Some, absolutely. Now there's a process, it depends on how recent you say recent, but when applications come in, we have deadlines, but truly on a rolling basis. We're reading those applications, we're scoring the written applications, and then the top written applications are going to the interview stage. And so it's a process, and it's just not quick. And it's not quick because it's deliberate. Like, we are looking for the most talented leaders, the folks who are at that point in their careers where they've had success, they've reached leadership potential, and they're looking for a bigger opportunity. I mean, most people know this, but it's worth repeating. 12,000 people in a given year start the application for Atlas Corps and to get to various stage, and we place less than 100 people a year. So we're talking about a less than 1% acceptance rate. So on one hand, you can think to yourself, 1% acceptance rate, well, why would I even spend 3 or 4 hours on an application if that were the case? But the fact is, like, our host organizations are so diverse and looking for so many different skills that they could be looking for you, and that you never know until you apply, until you engage in that process. So we are still doing interviews, we're still taking applications, we're still doing placements, and things still are moving. How many fellows on class on average? So recently, in the last 2 years, we've moved to a schedule that is 4 classes a year, roughly January, May, July, and October. So roughly every 3 months. And we bring roughly anywhere from 15 to 25 people in a class. This year we were looking at bringing probably slightly under, somewhere in the 80s number of fellows. That number will probably be smaller because of coronavirus, but we'll see. If we get the right host organizations and candidates, we have our limits are usually based off, is there a right match between fellow and candidate? That's usually the biggest limit to our growth. And because we never sacrifice quality. We want the fellow to have an amazing experience. We want the host organization to have an amazing experience. So we won't just make a match if all parties aren't confident it's going to be good. So our classes recently have probably averaged in the high teens, close to 20 a class. And those classes will be smaller in May and July. But I suspect the October class might be a lot larger as we move forward. So that's kind of the average, bringing roughly 80 people a year. We brought as many as 94 one year. So it kind of varies from year to year. If you want to learn more, by the way, about our theme and some of the virtual innovations, we'll post this link, but it's atlascorps.org, advancing technology for humanity. Abby or someone's going to put in the chat box right now. Are you accepting applications from individuals with tech experience? Great question. I love it. I love this question. This question might very well have been planned. I don't really know. But yes, absolutely. And so we still require all of our tech candidates, just like our climate change candidates and just like our doctors and lawyers and activists, to have a strong social change, social impact focus. Candidates still need to have a college degree. They still need to speak English proficiently. They still need to be committed to returning to their home country. But yes, so much of social change and social impact these days requires tech skills. So those data scientists, those full stack engineers, those machine learning folks. We've had folks in our program who've invented batteries for solar panel companies. I have no idea how she invented a battery for a solar panel company. I'm glad I wasn't competing against her for that fellowship. We have some amazing tech leaders who have gone through our program, and specifically with this focus on tech for humanity, we're seeking more tech host organizations and more tech candidates because we want to do more of those tech placements. We think having tech fellows in our program is a huge complement to our health leaders and our climate change leaders. We all need to be finding more ways to work together on that front. Okay, if I work for an organization in the US, how can I help/get involved? Great question. So on one hand, there's just the individual opportunity that we all have to lean into this pandemic and this crisis and figure out how can I best use my skills and talent and time that's available to me to make a difference. And look, for some of you, that may be trying to find ways to volunteer in the local food kitchen. That may be providing extra support to your family. Like, there's a lot of important needs that need to be done. For many of you, especially on this call, you could become a selection board member. You could help do a care package for our fellows. You could help spread the word for candidates around the world and posting in LinkedIn and Facebook groups that you know. You can ask about how you could be a nominator. Or perhaps your organization, which is doing social impact work, be it nonprofit or for-profit or even government, is growing because of the needs of the world that we're in right now. And so if you're in an organization that has extra needs and has desire for extra capacity, would like a global social change leader to join your team for a year, reach out. Let's talk about how the process works, what the costs are, what the restrictions are, because it is a unique program, but at its core, it's an opportunity to strengthen organizations with diverse talent and also to develop those leaders through our Global Leadership Lab and the high impact placements we're able to provide them. Great. How can Atlas Core alumni show their support during this time? Thanks, and thanks for all these alumni who are here. I can't possibly keep track of all this. Manakshi writes, 3 years is worth the wait. Thank you for saying that. It's so nice. I'm so glad that you got into our program. How can alumni help? Look, we have a lot of alumni. They're super talented leaders. They're making a big impact in their countries. They're doing incredible stuff with UNHCR in Pakistan, as I said, with makerspaces in Tunisia, with important global health work in Mexico. So keep doing the work that you're doing. Look at your families and make sure you're making the impact that you can. In supporting Atlas Core, some of our alumni are great selection board members, but really one of the best things that our alumni can do is to continue to spread the word to other social change leaders. You know people who look like you looked 4 or 5 years ago, who are just they were top in their class. They have excelled in their organizations. They have exceeded in every challenge that they've taken. They're creative and they're innovative and they're to a certain extent risk-friendly. They're seeking a larger platform. They're seeking an opportunity to make a bigger difference in the world. They're seeking a community, a tribe of people who believe in them like on the good days that they believe in themselves. And so I want our alumni to keep spreading the word. We want to make sure we keep getting strong numbers of applicants and people coming through our community. Not only will we place them in our classic fellowship, we'll place them in our hybrid fellowship, we'll enroll them in our distance learning program. We want to make sure that we keep Atlas Core strong. It's always been strongest because of the strength of our fellows, our candidates, and our alumni. So please keep sending people our way. We've actually had a lot of alumni do donations as well, and that is just incredibly appreciated. Sometimes people think, I don't have $45,000. How can I possibly help Atlas Core with its needs? And if you know our history, and we can do a different call on this sometime, our organization was literally built on $10 donations. Literally built on $10 donations. I've been very blessed in my life in many ways, but I don't come with a trust fund or have my own resources to launch this organization. It's been a huge community that have gotten Atlas Core off the ground. It's going to be a huge community that keeps Atlas Core going. So when alumni give $10 or $3,000, which an alum gave last year, it all really, really adds up. And when you send us candidates and send us host organizations and send us love and support, it really, really, really makes a big difference. And tell us what you're doing so we can shine a highlight on the work that you're doing as well. We don't want to take credit for all your important work. We certainly want to let the world know what they're doing. Are you still recruiting from all countries? I remember seeing some restrictions during the coronavirus. Yes, good question. Sorry for that totally important coffee drink and shameless plug of Georgetown, but anyways, yes, we are still recruiting from all countries. We have had different focus of our recruitment as we've had different partnerships with U.S. government overseas. The U.S. government, transparently, is about 18% of our budget. It doesn't fund all of our fellows, but funds some. You should know that. They've been a really important partner of ours, which is generally very helpful. But we take candidates from all over the world, and including some countries like Cuba, for example, which are typically very difficult countries to get visas from. So if you meet those criteria, English, college degree, social impact, 35 or younger, committed to returning to your country after a 12 to 18 month experience, you should apply. And we have no quotas. We have tons of Pakistanis who've gone through our program. There's also lots of Pakistanis in the world. It's also a big country with a really strong, deep nonprofit sector. We celebrate when we have fellows coming from new countries. So if you look on our alumni page and you don't see your country there, well, you can be the first one from your country. So please apply, and we take applications from every country except the United States. And if you're a dual citizen in the United States, you can't apply either. I'm sorry. It's for people who are not U.S. citizens. Personal question. Okay. As an experienced and inspired leader, how are you motivating your team? What advice, inspiration do you have for other leaders? We appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you, unsigned, very nice person who wrote this comment. Thank you. Well, I think it starts out by having a team that is, not that everyone can always be self-inspired, but I've been blessed from the very beginning with a very talented team, very diverse team that is service-oriented and mission-driven and believes in Atlas Corps at the absolute same level that I do. And so to a certain extent, people don't need to be inspired, but there is this, of course, desire for us to stay strong as a team and stay moving forward. I think what's been important for me at Atlas Corps is one, to listen to the concerns of the team and to the fellows. We've done fellow only calls and of course board only calls. You need to listen because, especially when you're locked in your home, you don't necessarily know how people are feeling or doing, even if you know that they're struggling. You need to remember that people have family members that are sick, and they have little kids that aren't in school, and they have concerns, and spouses who have lost their jobs in some cases, and just concerns about the fellows in the program and unemployment rising in the United States. There are so many legitimate concerns, many of which that have nothing to do with their job at Atlas Corps or the work that they do on a daily basis. And so some of it's listening and being empathetic and understanding, and then some of it is just saying, with a plan, with confidence, we're going to get through this, and Atlas Corps will get through this. We have some very, very difficult months ahead of us, but many people have difficult months ahead of them. This is not unique to the world, and we need to be recognizing that the whole world is going through a difficult time. Work at Atlas Corps we're a strong organization. We have a strong board, we have very strong partners, and we have even stronger fellows and candidates. We've gone through the 2008 crisis, we've gone through the Ebola crisis. We will go through this as well. And so I think the team not necessarily needed to hear, but it helps when teams come together and say, okay, we need to make some changes, but we have the team and talent to do it. We have the mission that's important to do, so let's do it. So the team has launched this hybrid fellowship so quickly. They're working on this virtual training program so quickly, and they're not sacrificing quality or taking shortcuts. They're just getting it done. They're working really hard, they're working extra hours, and they're looking after the safety of our health and safety of our fellows. And it's been awesome to see. And it's been hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or make light of it. There's been real sacrifices, and it's definitely been hard. But I've been really proud of what the team's been able to do and how our communities come together on this. So and showing appreciation. So thank you for appreciating what we're doing. And I'll actually just mention as well, we actually have Atlas Corps fellows who serve on our team from Zimbabwe and from Russia and Armenia. And so not only do we care deeply about our fellows, but they're literally part of our team. And so to see our fellow from Zimbabwe helping innovate and change the training program, and our fellow from Russia coming up with ideas on the community building, and it's just it's a reminder of how Atlas Corps is so special, and it's been very real and present for us. So, okay, I got so many questions. Okay, is Atlas Corps a U.S. government program? Thank you. A good question, and I do want to just say again, we are certified by State Department to sponsor folks on J-1 visas. So on a very basic level, we're a pretty important partner, like the Fulbright program in some ways. Our ability to sponsor people on visas comes from our designation from the U.S. government. And it's a designation we've had now for 14 years. for different administrations and different people running State Department. And State Department's been a really good partner with us in allowing us to sponsor folks on the J-1 visas. They still need to get approved by the consular officer, but a J-1 visa is a lot easier visa to get than a lot of others because of the track record we bring to the table and the candidates that we bring to the table. However, that being said, we are a private program. The U.S. government is one of our major funders. It's not even our largest, but it's one of our major funders. It's about 18% of our budget. And specifically, they fund fellows from certain countries that we have partnerships from. So actually, Pakistan's a one that I'll mention again. Many years, we've gotten funding from the U.S. Embassy in Pakistan. Actually, I don't think we're working up a grant right now, but maybe that'll change in a couple months, where the U.S. Embassy has sponsored us to bring civil society leaders from Pakistan. They put in roughly half the money, we put in roughly half the money. So even in those fellowships, they don't pay for everything. And so, yes, we are a partner of the U.S. government, but we're not an arm of the U.S. government. We have a lot more flexibility than even the Fulbright or the IVLP program has because we bring independent philanthropic resources to the table. I firmly believe that social change exists in the nonprofit sector and the government sector and the private sector. And if you can't figure out ways to work with both IBM and the US government and the American Red Cross, then you are literally not going to figure out how to make systemic change in our world, in our societies, in our countries. And we have huge corporate partners, and we have other governments too, the Colombian government, we've gotten funding from the UN before. Like we partner with lots of different funders and communities and raise lots of $10 donations with the sole goal, never sacrificing on our mission, which has been practically the same since day one, of developing social change leaders and strengthening organizations through this overseas exchange of high impact leaders. That's actually not exactly our mission, but it's really close. And so, yes, the US government has been one of those partners. If you are coming on a fellowship that's funded by the US government, you literally know that before you're interviewing for the position. So like, there are some people that are like, no, I don't want to, or some people who don't want to be listed on our website because of that. And we accommodate and understand those perspectives. Okay, great. I do want to we've had a lot of U.S. embassies, a lot of public affairs sections support us, and we really do appreciate that support. How many fellows are accepted each year? So we may need to wrap up soon, but we have about, as I said, we've as high as 94, and in our first year we had 6. So anywhere between 6 and 94 fellows a year. These years we've been bringing in the high 80s, but again, no magic number on that. And I suspect we'll bring anywhere from 70 fellows to 89 fellows. Obviously, coronavirus is affecting that, but we're still very much in business, still taking candidates, still placing fellows. Okay, I want to just see if there's, look, there's Gigi Gigi, one of our amazing fellows from Italy/Venezuela, which is great. Thank you for sharing a Google Doc. That's awesome. So many folks who are here. Thank you very much. I'll read those later. I won't bury you with it. I should wrap up. If your question wasn't answered, I'm going to try to address it later. Maybe I'll even do another follow-up message if you like that. I really encourage you to share this video and to share this message with other people. I'm not sure if everyone's going to watch 40 minutes of me updating on Atlas Corps, but we want people to get the word out about this program and how Atlas Corps is still in business. But there are 3 really key things I want to really leave you here with. First, the world is changing, and there are a lot of challenges that exist in today's world, and we recognize that. Second is we're innovating. We're innovating our model with the blended fellowship, with the virtual program, with other offerings that are coming out soon, because the work that we do is so important that we can't slow down or pull back. We need to lean in and speed up the work that we're doing. And through these innovations and in partnership with our host organizations and our funders, and especially our candidates, we are going to be launching some really exciting new programs in the coming weeks and months, and still very much doing the work that we're doing. And then third, we still need your help. Atlas Corps has never been about me. It's never been about incredible people on our team. It's always been about this larger community. And so we need your help as a person who's overseas who wants to be part of this program to apply, to finish that application, to encourage their friends to apply, to tell their classmates and other people that they know, hey, let's dream big and let's apply. Let's both apply together, and maybe we'll get in together and do this program, probably early next year whenever your application gets through the process. We need host organizations to call us up. to let us know what their needs are going to be now, this summer, later this year, because we really want to place leaders on your team. We need volunteers to step up, to include us in your thoughts, to include our fellows in the time and sweat equity you're giving to nonprofits around the United States and around the world. And then we really need donations. We really need financial support as well, whether it's $10 or $10 a month. Or more. We really appreciate our supporters. Just this week, Dan Pincus and Gretchen Allen and Craig Newmark and Teresa Weber and Judy Tigani and Mary Beth Turner and Kinsley Holloway and Andrea Lee Zucker and Erin Lee Zucker, both. It's great when both spouses donate. I don't even know if they knew that both ones were donating, but thank you both for donating. And so many folks, old friends of mine, and Megan Moore and Jay Bott and old people we've worked with, and Bill Dan and Laura Barker and so many folks, old employees of ours like Nick Cortina, Lincoln Willis, former board members. So many people are stepping up and contributing in so many ways. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting our work. And know that Atlas Corps is strong and we're going to get through this. And I appreciate you taking a lot of time with me today to hear what's up with our work. We'll share this on Facebook and more will be coming soon. Please stay safe and be well and stay inspired and stay strong, because we need all of us to get through this crisis and to rebuild our cities, our communities, our organizations, our country, and our world. And I believe in Atlas Corps, and I believe in you. Thank you.